enjoy doing this. This is my way of giving back. And like I always say, when I do these presentations, I don't expect everybody to agree with me. These are just views that I've gotten over the many years of speaking to corporations in my private practice, life in general, coaching, doing all the things I used to do in my entire life. So hopefully you'll have fun tonight. I'll have stories. How many of you have been before? Thank you guys for coming back. Welcome back. After today, and how many are new? Raise your hands. Welcome, welcome. We look forward to seeing you again. It's going to be every Wednesday starting on Valentine's Day. I'm actually doing another presentation this month. The second Wednesday of every month I'll be doing, it's always 4 to 5, and it'll be the second Wednesday of every month, and it'll be a different topic every time. And if any of you have a topic you want me to speak on, please email me, text me. I'm going to leave some cards up here if you want to have any questions afterwards or whatever, because I still am practicing therapy. And so just if you know anybody who's struggling and have any questions or whatever, please feel free. How many of you came this morning and took the personality test? How many failed? I remember years ago they wanted me, when we were in school, they wanted us to take that personality test, and I passive aggressively told them diligently and with passion that I was clinically not capable of taking that test. And they told me, "You're taking the test." And so I failed. I found out I have no personality, so I'm just kidding. So anyway, but you're ugly. You're not good enough. You'll never amount to anything. What made you think that? You don't do a good job. Matter of fact, you do a horrible job. You're lazy. You don't get along with anybody. You're a problem child. Stop it, Mom, stop. Very nice, Louis. Very nice. That's awesome. But so true, right? It is so true at so many points in my life. How many times have you had somebody that's been in a position of authority who has said something to you that you can't let go of? Raise your hands. That's your subconscious mind, right? Consciously, you can sit there and go, "Oh no, that's not true. Oh no, I don't believe that. I don't buy into that. I don't." However, subconsciously, if it gets in there, right now our subconscious mind is our feelings, our emotions, our memories, and our imagination. Our subconscious mind, unconscious, superconscious, they call it all kinds of different things, is 99.9% of our mind. It dictates our daily behavior. It's where all the I do it, but I don't know why I do it like. So consciously we can reason with ourselves and say, that's really a lie. That's not true. However, if somebody who is in a position of authority, or somebody who you really look up to says something to you negative, it might not be the first time, it might not be the second time, maybe third or fourth time, but somewhere it'll lock into that subconscious, and you may start in some way to believe it. Has anybody experienced that? So think about this. Think about if you didn't buy into it, which is really our choice to buy into it, which is hard as a child, but as an adult, it becomes easier. We get to choose who we hang out with. We get to choose who we surround ourselves with. Free will, freedom of choice, the greatest thing that we possess. Free will, freedom of choice. Which as a child, we don't get to use it as much. As an adult, we have free reign over it. However, that negative programming that when we were young locks in, and we start to make choices in life, decisions in life, based on a false narrative. Think about that. That's the greatest thing about being here in this community, right? What's great about being in this community? We get to meet all kinds of different people. We get to choose who we surround ourselves with. However, sometimes if we have that narrative that's locked in, that we don't feel worthy, we're not good enough, I would think at this age, do we want to really compare to other people? You know, we're all at a time in our lives that we're retiring, well, it's most of us. I have to work to keep my wife in the lifestyle she's become accustomed to. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. And now, thank goodness, I'm eating dinner here at the club tonight, because if we were going home, I wouldn't be eating. No. But we buy into that false narrative. We buy into that false narrative and think of the choices that we've made along the way, because we believed that false narrative that somebody else instilled in us. Think about how your life would have been different had you made different choices, right? I believe this: we're all at the end of our life. I'd say we're on the back nine of our lives. I want to shoot a good round, right? That's what I want to do. But a lot of times, a lot of people don't get involved, or maybe somebody says something they heard wrongly, or just took it a wrong way, and then they back off instead of engaging, right? That's part of getting to know people, asking questions. I have a young man that I've been working with, and autistic, and he struggles when he's working with people, when he's dealing with people. And I said to him, I go, well, he goes, how do I converse with somebody? Ask questions. Because if you ask questions and they're good questions, the next one, the answer you get is going to lead to your next question. But a lot of people ask questions or get into conversations based on what they think the other person wants to think of them, instead of being their authentic self. Being your authentic self. Do you know how many people come to me and say, gosh, you know, at our age, and they'll say, I go, well, what do you like to do? I don't know. Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Right? Now, there's a lot of people in this community that were wives, husbands, lost their significant other, and are really finding out what it's like to be by themselves for the first time in their lives. Anybody in here? Okay. So it's a new adventure. It's a journey, right? Because you're used to this. See, we all like to be comfortable, right? Oh, that's familiar. I like that. That works. Change. Oh my goodness. How many people in here like change? Raise your hand. I love it. All those of you who raise your hand, I'm proud of all of you, because you know what? The one constant in life is change. The one certainty in life is uncertainty. And, you know, don't fear it. Embrace it. Look at it as an adventure. It's a new chapter. Right? Right. How many are embracing that chapter? How many people have met a lot of new friends in here that wow, okay, I love that. I'm still working on it. No, I'm kidding. but you know, this is an adventure. It's a new chapter. But the chapter can be wonderful if you choose to make it wonderful. If you choose to get out there, if you choose to explore. And are you going to like everybody? No. Is everybody going to like you? No. And that's okay. Right? Everybody going to like you, I know that. I'm kidding. You know, I'm teasing. And by the way, those of you that are new, if you have a story, if you have a question, feel free to jump in. I want this to be a conversation. I don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you. Okay? So if you have anything you want to say, anything you want to add, please raise your hand. Because we were getting pretty interactive at the end of last year, right? It was getting really kind of fun at times. Because everybody has an opinion. Which is good. It's good, right? But yeah, I definitely want you to get involved in whatever. And by the way, before I go any further, I have to mention this. Our friend Charlie is turning 90 very soon, so let's give him a hand. Yay! Hey Charlie, how you feeling today?
Fantastic.
Nice. Now, if I ever looked at anybody that I have met, the person that lives his genuine self is that guy. And it was funny, he drove up today, we were talking about stories, right? And he has stories about, and he has friends that are going to tell stories when he has his birthday celebration. And he goes, you can tell a story. I say, wow, I can make up a story. And he goes, no making up stories. I said, but I'll tell you what, the story I make up would probably be pretty close to real life for this guy. But if you talk to him and Mary Ann, their life has been a wonderful adventure and a great love story. So it's a tribute to you guys. You guys are awesome. So anyway, living genuine self. Living genuine self doesn't mean to be perfect. How many people here are perfectionists? Raise your hand. Come get my card after, we'll talk about it. You know, can set up something or whatever. Perfectionism is an unattainable goal. So really, when you push that I have to be perfect, or I want to be perfect, or I'm gonna be perfect, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, frustration, all these negative things that are not genuine. Perfectionism is disingenuous because it's not possible. Right? It's an unattainable goal. If you set yourself up for perfectionism again, you're going to be disappointed. All these negative things will take over because you haven't reached that goal. And I've worked with perfectionists that, they will get to a certain goal and they don't take time to celebrate it, to breathe into that great accomplishment. Self-esteem is built through one thing only, and that's accomplishment. That is it. Compliments don't build confidence. They do not. I'm not to say it's not nice to give a good compliment, because here's what I want you to do. I want everybody to look at the person on their left. I'm going to take a minute here, and I want you to give the person on your left a compliment. Now, if the wall's next to you and you give the wall a compliment and talks back to you, it's another issue we need to talk about, but that's okay. But look at the person next to you and give them a nice compliment.
I like your shoes.
Okay, now look at the person on the right and give them a compliment.
It's fun. It's interesting. That's my compliment. You seem like a very nice guy. Nice to meet you.
There's a difference. One is high expectations, stress of, and the other one is Okay, what do you guys notice happening in the room?
We're out of control.
Yeah, but what happened? Laughter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Smiles, the energy went up just like that. Okay? So when you start that negative self-talk, you're being disingenuous to yourself. Because what I want you to really focus on is I want every one of you to start focusing on what you bring to the table, the good things you have, as opposed to the negative things you have. Right? Because we all have good traits. Some are a little harder to find than others. My wife will tell you that. No, I'm kidding. But some, we all have good traits. Focus on those and work to improve on the ones you're not so good at, and just take your time and do it. And not negative, oh, that's bad, that's horrible, that's awful. That's a deficit I have that I would like to improve on. Changing the attitude, right? It's a shift. That feels a lot better than, man, I suck. Right? That does. It feels better. That's something it's like one of the kids I was working with, we're talking the other day, he's studying for, you know, he's just hit college. He's really, was struggling at first and doing really well. He goes, well, I'm really good at math and I'm really good at science. He goes, but I'm horrible at English. And I said, well, what do you study more? He goes, well, you know, I study the math and the science. No, you study the English. That's where your deficit lies, right? Get better in that area. You know you're good at these, so you put less time to studying here and then working, you know, more on the stuff that you struggle with, right? Makes sense to me. And he goes, gosh, that's good. So 3 weeks later, he goes, I've been doing what you said. My English grade has gone up and I've maintained my math grades. Great. Good job. You know, took that advice and, you know, went with it. And it worked for him. Peg asked a question. Is there a difference between somebody who's a perfectionist and somebody who's wound tight?
There's overlap.
There can be, yes, no, absolutely, but they are different. There is overlap, but they are different. Because how many people do you know that are not, you know, they don't do everything or always make the best effort, but they're really wound tight. And a lot of times they're wound tight because the pressure is for them to get things done at work, at school, whatever, that they're not getting done. So that pressure of not getting things done winds them tight. So there's a difference, an opposite in that end. But then there's the perfectionist who's wound tight because I got to do it right or it's wrong. I got to do it perfect or it's wrong. I remember my brother Tim, and I love my brother, one of my best friends, and he's mellowed out over in his older age. But retired LA County firefighter captain, amazing person, just one of my favorite people in this world. But I made the mistake of asking him to come over and help me pull out a wall in my kitchen because I was going to put in a booth, right, in my kitchen, my own kitchen at the house. Okay, he comes over, you know, and even when I'm tearing it down, he goes, no, that's not the right way to do it. I go, wait, you take a hammer, there's a wall, bam, right, you pull it out. But we get in there, and I have a little bit of the OCD. I'll fully admit that. Little, right? Okay, more. But I have that, you know. So I get in there and I'm working. Yeah, the wall looks great. I mean, it measures up and stuff like that. He pulls out the level. He's going like level on all level. Everything's good, but this one little corner is off. Now, do we just change that corner, build it up, fix that one corner? No, we have to tear the whole thing down and start all over. We finally got it, but I just looked at him and I said, okay. I said, number one, I appreciate what you did. I appreciate you being here for me. I appreciate the job you did. But next time I'm asking somebody else. And he looks at me and goes, I get it. No, but we actually did a lot of projects together after that, and it was fine. Everything worked out well. But that's my genuine brother. I mean, being genuine is being really true to yourself. It's looking on the inside as opposed to the outside. See, that's the bigger problem, is we have a tendency to, like I said earlier on, buying into the negativity, the negative talk that other people give you, and it can change. They can, you know, people can manipulate that. They can change that. I'll give you back. I was in middle school, junior high school. I was student body president for one semester, and my buddy Alan Umetsu was student body president. They split it into 2 semesters. Well, when I ran, my platform was that I'm going to fight for women to be able to wear pants instead of skirts. That was my platform, to get the women's vote. And then the guys, it was free booze and cigars. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So we, you know, I ran on that platform, and that's what I intended to do. I thought, you know, I don't want to go in there. I didn't want to be a figurehead. I really wanted to do something, right? So I was a good student. I was a good athlete. I got good grades and stuff like that. You know, so Mrs. Ware was the vice principal at the time. Mr. Gower was the principal, and I'm trying to remember the name of my teacher who was our sponsor or whatever. But so all of a sudden you get down to, I'm in the first semester, right? So I'm going to work to get pants, and Mrs. Ware was old school. Oh, that was the day when we still got swats. Yeah. Anybody got swatted? Remind me to tell you the story of Mr. Cash on one day, but that's another story. He was 6'4", gym teacher, and we had those paddleball paddles that were like, you had 100 holes in them, and they were about that thick. Anyone remember those paddles?
Oh, yeah.
If you ever get hit on one of those bare butt, that is like, no. You have a tattoo for quite a while. Experienced it. So anyway, but we were having an assembly, right? And one of the assemblies at the beginning of the year and that sort of thing. So I told a couple of the gals in leadership class, I said, hey, put together a petition, have all the girls sign it, and guys too. If you can get guys to sign it. And the guys, we didn't care. It was kind of like, okay, well, my girlfriend wants it, okay, we'll sign. If I want to date that girl, she wants pants, okay, I'll sign. You know how that went, right? So everybody went around. So they signed the petition, did that sort of thing. And then, so we're there at the assembly, and I have to speak to the whole student body. And Mrs. Ware says to me, so you're gonna go up there and you're gonna tell them that pants are not acceptable, and it's not an issue, and won't ever be an issue, and that you're gonna squelch that. And I looked at her and I said, right, so I went up into the assembly, and about midway through, I pull out this, I said, we have over how many signatures on this sheet that people want the pants. So I'm gonna see if we can take it to vote, for the student body to be able to do that. All of a sudden I went from good kid, smart kid, great, to horrible, awful, how could you do that? They brought me in the office, they wanted to suspend me, okay? I got a SWAT, I did get a SWAT, and then they took me out of office, moved Alan into office, and then we had a track carnival 3 weeks later, and they were gonna try and keep me out of the track carnival as well. Well, it's the first time that I saw the genuine Mr. Gower, because Mrs. Ware it was like she ran the school. Nobody messed with her, she was the one, everything. Mr. Gower was known as the pansy to everybody, right? The guy wouldn't stand up or whatever. Well, they come to find out what happened. He comes in, he says he will be in the track carnival. He will be in the track carnival, he won't be suspended. She said, and we're gonna take it to vote for the student body to get pants for the girls.
Wow.
We won.
Levi's thanks you.
Yeah. And what felt good for me is I was my genuine self. I didn't take the pressure from somebody or a group there that were telling me all of a sudden, yeah, you can run on this platform, you can do this, you can do, as long as you stay in the boundaries of what we want to do. And because I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I think it was about time at that time. I mean, we're talking 1971. Oh my God. Anyway, back then, but it's kind of like you can go from good to bad, bad to good in a second if somebody doesn't get their agenda. If somebody doesn't get what they want, all of a sudden they're going to make you feel bad about yourself or work to make you feel bad about yourself. And that can be parents, it can be grandparents, it could be friends, it could be enemies, it could be people that don't even know you that are threatened by you. I know whenever I come to speak, I walk on the floor, that automatically 4% of the audience is not going to like me. I know that. Because subconsciously, maybe my voice reminds them of somebody negative in their life. Maybe the way I'm dressed reminds them of somebody negative in their life. Maybe the way I walk, my gait, reminds them of somebody negative in their life. We all make these little judgments at first or whatever. And I remember, we all label, we all judge. Anybody feel like they never label or judge, ever? We all do. I don't care who you are, the best of people do. Vicki comes in to me one day, and we were talking about a friend of hers, and she goes, well, I was going to send her some stuff, but I'm not going to do that because she's a bit of a hoarder. And I said, yeah, I would agree. She's a hoarder. She's a hoarder. A hoarder.
That's the sound of D.
So She goes, she's a bit of a hoarder. And I said, yeah, she is a hoarder. She goes, well, you can't say that. I go, what do you mean I can't say that? She goes, well, that's labeling. I said, hold it, stop. I said, number one, I was reiterating what you just told me. Right? I said, and her actions, I said, you know me, I observe, I watch and I observe, and if it's a behavior that's consistent, then, there you go. It's order's a order, right? So I said, let me ask you this. I said, if I would have said she's kind, wonderful, giving, how would you feel about that? She goes, oh, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I go, yeah. I said, but that's a label, right? I said, so you can give good labels, but you can't give bad labels, right? Not true. It's like, I just said to her, I said, here's my feeling on it. If you don't want the label, don't exhibit the behavior. Free will, freedom of choice. But a lot of times we exhibit behaviors because of the negativity that has been instilled in us from when we were younger or at work or whatever it may be. I encourage you to go through that stuff. We're going to do a little bit of guided meditation that I'm going to do kind of to help you release some of that. Everybody up for that a little bit later? Okay. Just want to make sure I'm keeping on time here. But I want you to look at the people. I want you to make two lists. Okay? Lists of the positive people and positive things in your life. And I want you to make a list of the negative things and the negative people in your life. And then I want you to really look at keep the positive, put it in your pocket, put it in your wallet, whatever, put it away, and keep it with you wherever you go. Because when something bad happens, something goes downhill, something you can always pull that out and go. Right? And I want you to write down a statement, one that you remember somebody told you that was good about you, at the bottom of that list. And I want you to start saying that statement to yourself. I am whatever that person said that had the good influence on you. I want you to keep that with you. Now let's talk about the negative list. There's a few things you can do with that. You need to be your really, truly genuine self. You have to start eliminating negativity from your life. You absolutely have to. And I don't care if it's family. And we'll do another thing on family. We did two things on it last year, and they were amazing. Everybody was very involved. It was really cool. And I think we need to do it again this year. So that would be a lot of fun. Everybody be up for that? Doing one on family? Okay. But you need to look at the negative people in your life, and you need to start separating from them. Even eliminate them if you can. See, family to me is it can be the greatest, most loving, most wonderful word there is. It can be the most toxic, damaging, and dangerous word there is, depending on who that is. And to me, I've never believed that because of my life and my background or whatever, I don't believe family's genetic. I've learned more from friends and family, their parents, my friends, about love, reverence, and respect than I ever learned from my own family, Sam, my brother, and my sister. So I look at my friends, and I've had a lot of them since we were kids. They're my family because I know on a phone call I'm going to call them up. Now, do they ever say nasty things, mean things to me? Yeah, when you get them on the golf course, of course. Or you get them on a basketball court, or get them on a softball diamond, right? How many of you, the athletes, raise your hand, all the athletes in here. And all you play pickleball and stuff, you're athletes now, so raise your hands. But how many people do you know that are the greatest people you have outside the lines of a ball diamond or a basketball court or a pickleball court, and then they go inside the court and all of a sudden they become a whole different person? And probably not your favorite person. But I experienced that, all in life, but it's still a choice. I always tell when I have athletes that I work with, I've worked with a lot of athletes throughout the years, professional and Division I athletes and stuff like that. And one of the things my wife and I would say to people is, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as that hardworking kid that has a good attitude, that's willing to lay it out on the line for your teammates and always, going to get support and have people love you? Or are you going to be the one who's going to be walking between the lines, that you're selfish, that you're thinking just about yourself? you're not supportive of your teammates, and the guys don't even want to be around. How do you want to be remembered? Right? Well, it's the same thing in life. How do you want to be remembered? Because life, this is the whatever, basketball court of life, softball court of life, pickleball court of life, whatever, way more important than anything in between those lines will ever happen. But the greatest thing about that, and the greatest thing about getting older, is we have a choice. And even with family, but they're your family. You have to put up with that. You have to do that because they're family. Got to come to this event because it's family. Right? How many have gotten that and felt guilted into doing something because of that? Raise your hand. I know it's almost every one of us at one point in our lives, right? Family. No? Because when you allow family to pressure you, it becomes disingenuous. You don't want to be there, you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't feel guilty or feel you have to be there. It's a choice. Right? I ended up, those of you who've been here before, I've talked about my mom being crazy, drunk, alcoholic, maniac when I was young. And I was that. I was the piece of, you know what, that will never make anything of myself. I'm a horrible person, I'm a bad kid or whatever, and I knew better than that. And I was lucky with that, because I realized that when I was very young. And plus I had one of my best friend's moms was one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, and she was Mrs. Campbell. She was just sweet and loving and supportive, and she would always go, don't you listen to that woman. My mom would say something, don't you listen to that woman, right? And so, you know, as time went on, and I realized that, you know, she was crazy. So, so I got my Ph.D. I was 42 years old, and my family, I have a brother and sister who married a brother and sister, right? Yeah. Do you? Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's. I had a bad joke, so I won't say it. But somebody have to watch my sense of humor. But it's, you know, it was always the O'Neills and the Newhalls, and it was, you know, the only bad thing about it was all these women, or all the women in the families were always trying to set me up with women that were attached to the family one way or the other. I'm like, no, I've got this. No, thank you, right? So anyway, so they have a party for me. I was 42 years old at the time. My mom had never said a good word about me. And this is what I mean, where if it works to their advantage, you know, people, or they can manipulate you, or they can, now all of a sudden the rhetoric changes, right? So here we are, 42 years old, having a party, all the family's there, both sides of the family. So I'm in the kitchen with my brother, we're preparing food, I'm helping him, we're laughing, joking and stuff, but then all of a sudden I hear my mom, oh, I'm so proud of him. My son's a doctor. You know, I'm just going on, and I'm just, you know, nothing really you know, I don't get angry easy, and I was starting to fume, and Tim looks at me and he goes, okay, he goes, it's good, pal, it's good, everything's gonna be good. I'm going, no, it's not. I go, no. And so finally I got to a point where I just walked out, and I said, you know what? I said, you have no right, none whatsoever. I said, up until now, I've been just garbage to you. I've been this, that, and whatever. And now because I get a piece of paper, now all of a sudden you're proud of me because I'm a doctor? Oh, that's bullshit. You know what? Excuse me. And I go out the door, and I look at my brother, I said, I'm going to be over in San Francisco. I'll be sitting at the bar, having a cocktail, come join me. Sure enough, a few minutes later, you know, he comes down, sits at the bar, so he and I just sat, chatted, had cocktails. One of the most cathartic things that could have ever happened to me. Because I took that monkey off my back. I was my genuine self. I spoke my truth, and you know, people say, well, you shouldn't care, you know, I didn't care anything, what she had to say, what anybody else had to say. And I, you know, as I walked out, I apologize when I walk out. I apologize to everybody, but I can't stay here. I thank you, I'm grateful, I can't stay here. And I walked out, and they were like, everybody was fine. Even my sister, who I thought would never be fine with something like that, was good and fine. She was fine. So who is it in your life that you could at least create distance between or eliminate completely that is going to allow you to become your genuine self. Because once you become your genuine self, then you start living your genuine life. Because then you start making choices that benefit you. You make choices that you come to peace with. You make choices that you find contentment with. Notice I didn't say happy. Happy's fleeting. It's a moment. It's a moment. Happiness goes like that. Oh, I'm happy. Oh, it's over. Right? Contentment is really the place of power. When you wake up in the morning and you go, you know what, I've created a pretty darn good life for myself. You know, I'm pretty satisfied. Is it going to be perfect? No. And that's okay. Because if you, again, try to be perfect, you're not living your genuine life. You're not being your genuine self. Make sense? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a guided meditation. And I'm actually going to put a person, when you close your eyes and you get into relaxation, and I'm going to help you get there, you're going to put somebody in front of you. You're going to imagine somebody in front of you that was negative in your life. Try to pick the person who was the worst person and affected your life the worst way possible. And if it's a group of people, that's okay too. Just pick one to talk to you from that group. Does that make sense? Okay? Make sense? Any questions before we go any further? Before I go into any questions, any stories? Anybody have anything to say? Oh, come on.
Kind of off topic, but
Sure.
what benefit does your mother or anybody like her derive from putting down her son?
How?
It's usually, okay, it's usually a self-esteem thing. See, there's a lot of people that we think that are arrogant, or I had a teacher come to me and say, oh, that kid's has too much self-esteem. You can't have too much self-esteem. It's either healthy or unhealthy. Okay? Confidence is a great thing. Arrogance is not. Big difference. How many people in here have ever dealt with a narcissist? Well, I should do a whole topic on that, huh? Okay.
They are crazy.
But they're miserable people. Because they're always looking for something outside to make them feel better. Right? That's why when somebody comes to work with me individually, my first goal that I work with somebody is to help somebody become their best friend. If I can help them do that by osmosis, they make better choices and they set healthier boundaries. Just those two things in their lives alone are going to improve the quality of somebody's life, your life, anybody's life, right? If you can set healthy boundaries and make good, healthy choices and not let the outside affect you, things are good. So a lot of times it's a transference, Penny, is what it is. They're transferring their negative feelings about themselves onto them. What did your mom miss growing up that she's trying to vicariously get through you guys? Right? So, just something to think about. But usually that's the case. It's kind of, I want you to be this because I'm going to be embarrassed if you don't amount to something. Right? There's a back end reward to that. So a lot of times they sit there and think, so it's not encouraging, it's not, and then it's a generational thing. You get back to certain generations, what's that? The negative, it was tough love. Still believe in tough love. There's just a different way of doing it. Instead of, you're horrible, hey, I think deep down inside you're good, but you're not showing that. Different way of presenting. It's all, in the delivery, it's all that sort of thing. But a lot of times it's that. A lot of times it's like, my mom, it was like, you're this, you're that, you're going to amount to nothing, whatever. Had no in my life. And then all of a sudden I get this piece of paper and all of a sudden, hey, look at what I got, look at what I did. See, and a lot of times that comes from ego too. So usually it's a transference. When people criticize, usually what they're doing is they're transferring a negative feeling about themselves, trying to transfer it onto you, which can only happen if you allow it to happen.
If you accept it.
That's right, you accept it, if you buy it. Yeah, if you buy it.
Say, were you angry? so you left angry, and how?
I was
long-
angry.
And how long did you stay angry, and
No.
how did you hold on to it? And you have these boundaries, but did she keep tapping at them?
No, she couldn't after that point. Two things happened with there was another event right after that that happened as well. There's two things that happened with my mom. My mom, before she would beat me, her eyes, and it's my imagination, I'm sure, but it seemed like her eyes turned black. Like they were just, like we would see in a scary movie, right? Your eyes would go, right? I mean, it was skillets, it was heavy skillets, it was, it was, because she was crazy, right? So I knew she was not capable. See, think about this, people in your life that are negative in your life, are they capable of being anything different? We like to think they are, idealistically, but realistically, are they? That's where you have to be genuine and honest with yourself. They're not capable. If they're not capable, out, done, right? So I was angry, but I got over it because, again, my brother was, he and I were the rock for each other. And then we were fine. It was kind of like, I was over it.
So that earlier exercise where we turned to our left.
Yes.
Say your mother was to your left, what would you have said to her?
I would have I probably would have commented on something she was wearing.
Okay.
That's why I won't go to something personal with that. Just don't be disingenuous. I tell this, Vicky hates when I tell this story, but think about this, okay? You go to, it's just an example, but you go into a park, right? And you see somebody and they're pushing a baby buggy, right? Well, like kids or whatever. So you come up and you see a young, for the most part, okay, most. Right? Or like babies, okay? Is that?
Or whatever's.
Yeah, well, there you go, okay. Right. So you're pushing a baby buggy and you see this nice looking couple, right? You walk up to it and you go, hi, how you doing today? And you look inside and you go, oh, that's really cute baby. Right? Oh, it's a cute baby. Disingenuous. But you can walk up and they come walking up and you see, and you can sit and look in and you go, and you see the baby's not that good looking, you go, hey, it's great being a parent, isn't it? Right? So you've given them a compliment, you've not gone to it was genuine, it's great being a parent. Because you're happy, you're smiling, pushing the baby buggy, right? Most people. Yes.
But when you have to deal with somebody like that, like
When you have to deal with.
you have to deal with somebody like your mom and the aftermath of all that. I mean, because she was still in your life, right?
She was still in my life,
Did
but
you like say, could you balance it out with any good with her? Like if there's any good in somebody, like is that what you tell yourself to kind of get by?
my mom was evil.
Okay.
She was purely
It
evil. I
sounds
mean, I
like
hate
it.
that sounds horrible, but there were no redeeming qualities with that woman.
But if there are, is that how you?
Yeah,
handle it?
you focus on the positive, but you don't get blinded by it. See, that's what you have to be careful of. You want to look at what are the redeeming qualities, because if I feel like I have to be here, right? If I have to be here, I want to look at the redeeming qualities and I want to, and so that's what you hold on to or whatever, but minimize the time you have to spend with
So
it.
you still have that really strong
Yep,
boundary.
yep.
But they try to get around that
But
boundary.
it can only happen if you let them. Yeah, you just set that healthy boundary, no, and it's okay. It's okay to set those healthy boundaries. With mine, I was done. I always say, calm indifference is the greatest place you can ever be. In any negative situation, the most toxic situations, calm indifference is the place to be. And indifference to me is not like apathy. Apathy, you don't care. Indifference, you care very much, but you take care of what you can control and let go of what you can't. Can't control what other people are going to say, do, think, or feel. You can't control certain situations around you. Only thing we have control over is our attitude. That's it. So if you can't change the situation, change your attitude about the situation. That's what I did. With my mom, I changed my attitude. Hey, you have no say, no control, no nothing over me. And I got to that place of calm indifference. So I would go to the hospital, Vicki knows, when she was passing and stuff, I left my practice. I would take 2 hours during the day, go to the hospital, which is about 40 minutes from where we are, just to check on things or whatever, to support my brother and my sister. I didn't do it for my mom, I did it for them. And I remember my brother one day looks at me and goes, why do you even do this? I said, because I love you and I love Carrie and I'm here for you.
Did she treat your brother and sister the same way?
No. My older brother, yes, at first, but then he left to Vietnam. My dad left, and so I was 9 years old, and I think my mom, I had a younger brother, so he was the youngest, she didn't touch him. My sister was the only girl she didn't touch. I was the target because I think I reminded her of my father.
Did you have a father?
My dad left when I was 9.
He just left.
He left. I didn't see him until I was in my late 20s.
So you
I
only
had-
had your mother that was able.
My dad was weak then. He came back later and stuff like that, and I took care of my dad till the day he passed, because I wanted to, I did that for me. And the thing was, is, you know, it was, I mean, my dad was funny, because my dad, you know, we'd go places and stuff like that, and he'd tell people, oh yeah, I taught Keith how to umpire and how to play ball and all that stuff, and I'd look at, and all my buddies would look and go, really? And I go, let him go, it's all good. You know, because I was at peace with it, I was at peace with that. But when he first came in and started to try and tell me what to do with my life, and I looked at him one day and said, look, you missed that. You missed it. You know, I may not like you, you may not like me. So let's not even talk about dad and son. Let's talk about friends first, see, because we may not like each other. And we did, and it kind of evolved, and it was fine. But, you know, I mean, my mom was bitter to the very end, and just one of those people that was just, but again, I chose not to let it, I chose not to. And I separated myself from it. That's what enabled me to get beyond it.
Did you ever try to figure out why she was the way she was?
My mom, from what
Was there a reason?
my mom's mom was crazy too, but not like that. She was one of those people that, you have plastic on all the couches, plastic runners down the thing, you don't touch the, you know, whatever. And then my grandfather, I think he was just immune to it, he just kind of just shut down, he was like, done. So she was, you know, and then she drank a lot. She started drinking. My dad used to tell stories where she'd drink all the guys under the table. They would go to the bars and she would drink, and, you know, everybody else would be hammered and she'd still be, whoa, you know, so. Well, you know,
telling us you're the miracle child.
no,
No, for coming out clean.
no, you know what, there's,
Yeah.
no, it's, like I said, it boils down to choices, and choices, we all have it, so, the choices are a miracle. That's what I believe, it's what we have, so, take advantage of it, use it correctly, live your genuine life, because you were not put in this world to meet the expectation of others, they weren't put in this world to meet yours. If you can build relationships based on mutual respect for one another, that's great. And if you can't, that's okay too. I was fortunate, and I'll get back into, I'll finish with this, and then I'll get into the meditation. But I was fortunate to speak on stage with Tommy Lasorda. Everybody know who Tommy Lasorda was? Yeah, Tommy Lasorda was the manager of the LA Dodgers for many, many years, very successful, won a lot of World Series. And I remember watching him speak, and I was coming out after him a little bit later, or whatever, and he said to everybody in the audience, he goes, and I don't want this, don't take this not as a religious thing, I just want to, just whatever, you can take it how you want to take it. He was a very religious man, and it was great, and for those that believe in God, you know, it was very powerful for me. He goes, whatever you do in your life, whatever you choose to do, he says, just do the best you can possibly do. He goes, because that's good enough, regardless. The best that you can possibly do. He says, because in this lifetime, if your God is not telling you you can't, the only one telling you you can't is you. That was powerful. Because it's only us. If you tell me can't is I won't. And usually you won't because there's something you're fearful of. Don't fear it, embrace it. The unknown, like I said, is the unknown. It's always there, but look at it as an adventure. And go for it, embrace it. That way, you'll be able to live your genuine life. Thank you guys very much. Don't go anywhere. We're going into things here, so. All right. I want everybody to get really comfortable, make nice and comfortable. Put your legs straight down. Don't cross legs. Okay. I want everybody to take a spot. Pick a spot on the wall, pick a spot on the ceiling, or close your eyes, whatever you choose to do, because you're going to close them eventually. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Let it out very slowly through your mouth. And as you do, feel every muscle, every nerve in your body just let go. Take another deep breath. Again, outside of your mouth, let it out very slowly. And again, feel every muscle, every nerve let go. Another deep breath. Let it out. Keep your eyes closed and just relax and sleep. I'm now going to ask that you give yourself permission to go into a comfortable, deep state of relaxation. To begin with, take another deep breath and let it out very slowly. Now take a full deep breath all the way down to your stomach. Inhale completely and exhale slowly and completely. Some people say that when they relax, their eyelids begin to feel heavy and tired. They become heavier and heavier with each breath that they take, with each beat of their heart, with each blink of their eyes. In fact, their eyelids are becoming so heavy and relaxed now it may seem difficult for them to open. You know you can always open your eyes if you wanted to, but you have no desire to do so. And it seems unimportant to you because you want them to remain closed and relaxed. I'm going to ask you to give yourself permission to allow that relaxed feeling around your eyes to begin to spread to your cheek muscles. Releasing them, relaxing them. Now let the muscles of your jaw become loose and let your teeth part and your chin drop just a bit. Let the muscles of your forehead loosen. Let the release of tension drift up to your scalp as its muscles relax entirely. Let the restfulness you feel seep down the back of your head, down to the muscles of your neck. Relax those muscles now. And let the muscles in the back, front, right, and left sides become soothing and comfortable for you. Take a deep breath and release that tension. Let the muscles in the back, front, right, and left sides become soothingly comfortable to you. Your head may now feel like it's floating or drifting from side to side. You're doing just fine, restoring energy to your body by resting it muscle by muscle. Let this pleasant feeling, this pleasant relaxed feeling move down to your chest with each breath that you take. You go deeper and deeper and even deeper into relaxation. As your chest rises and falls with each breath, you massage yourself into delightful slumber. Focus your attention now on your back muscles. Slowly begin at the top and let them release and loosen any tightness or tension. Dropping down deeper in the back, give yourself permission to let those muscles feel limp and loose and lazy. Notice now that when the back is relaxed, how gently and rhythmically the stomach responds, moving in and out and in again, giving you the feeling of tranquil rest. Your upper arms and forearms relax from the shoulders down, they begin to feel heavier and heavier. As you continue to go deeper and deeper, more completely into relaxation, every noise outside my voice just sends you deeper into relaxation. Every breath you take now becomes deeper and more profound. And with every breath you take, you go deeper into relaxation. Let the cares of the world take care of themselves. And now even your fingers begin to feel a numbing sense of relaxation. Now let this wonderful flood of relaxation move to your hips, easing and loosening those muscles. Your right and left thighs now join this harmonious feeling in your body. The right and left calf muscles also become limp and loose as your legs now feel heavier and heavier, more and more relaxed. I want you to imagine now that person or those people that have made you doubt yourselves, that have criticized you, that have made you feel less than, that have been toxic in your life. I want you to imagine now, and you can quietly say to them, I'm going to give you about a minute here. Tell them what you want to tell them. It doesn't matter whether they're here, whether they're gone. They're there right in front of you, 6 feet in front of you in a chair. Just imagine you're telling them exactly how you feel so that you can let go, so that you can move on. Now I want you to close your left fist. Everybody close your left fist. And as you do, all those negative feelings, I want you to go inside your body to the area where you're holding all these negative emotions towards that person. And I want you to release all of those negative emotions into that left fist. Keep that left fist closed until I tell you to open it, but release them into that left fist. Again, I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Get rid of those negative emotions. You don't need to hold on to those anymore. Now, I want you to take the right, with your right hand, I want you to take the hand of the person in front of you. Imagine grabbing their hand, and I want you to take 3 deep breaths and take back your personal power. Sometimes we give it to people, sometimes we allow them to take it. Take back your personal power, breathe it in, and let that personal power come into your heart permanently. And now let go of that person's hand. Any other negative emotions in regards to them is moving into your left fist now. Now I want you to imagine on the left side there's a box. I want you to empty that fist in that box. Go ahead and open that fist, empty that fist in the box. And I want you to seal that box for me. Once all that stuff's out of your body, seal that box. And now there's a fire on that left-hand side. Throw the box in the fire. The fire's burning. The box is burning. The contents of the box are burning. The smoke's going through the ceiling, back to the universe, gone forever. Take a deep breath, blow those ashes up into the ceiling. And now, I want you just in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud, but I want you to repeat after me. You can say it out loud if you want, or just in your mind. I've got my personal power back. I'm not gonna let you or anybody else ever take it from me again. It's where it belongs, as it should be. I've let go. I've moved on. And now I'm gonna count from 1 to 5, and I'm gonna bring on good, wonderful, positive feelings. Those good, I want you to go back to a time. I'm gonna count from 5 down to 1. You're gonna go back to a time where you felt your genuine self, where you felt good, you felt positive, you liked the way you looked, the way you felt, you were confident, you just oozed that. I'm gonna count from 5 down to 1, take you all back there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now on 3, I want you to step inside that version of you. Step in the back. 1, 2, 3. You're inside that version of you. I want you to let those feelings, those wonderful, positive feelings, embed in every cell, every muscle, every nerve of your body permanently. Take your time. Breathe them in. And now I'm going to count from 1 to 3. I want you to step out of that version of you, but you're going to bring all those wonderful feelings with you. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to count from 1 to 5, bring you all the way to now. We're bringing all those good, wonderful feelings with you. All those good, wonderful feelings now embedded permanently in every cell, every muscle, every nerve of your body. And you're going to come all the way back to now and wide awake at 5. 1, slowly, easily, gently, returning to your full awareness once again. 2, each muscle and nerve in your body is loose, limp, and relaxed. You feel good. 3, from head to toe, you feel perfect in every way. Physically perfect, mentally perfect, emotionally perfect. 4, your eyes are clear as fresh spring water. On the next number, eyes open, fully aware, feeling refreshed, relaxed, wonderfully good. 5, open your eyes. Take a deep breath. Clap my hands wide awake. How's everybody feel?
Good.
How was that?
Good.
You guys enjoy that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Very good.
Yay, nay? Any questions, any comments, how's everybody feel? Any negative experience with it? Anybody? Negative experience? Good, well, that's good to know.
Little bit when you go to the person or people because what you're doing is you're seeing them in the purest form.
Yeah, but were you able to release that though at the end?
Mhm.
Okay, so the negative turned to a positive, because sometimes it's tough, in that case, facing those people, and sometimes it's hard to admit that they were toxic for you. That's tough for people sometimes. Well, they're my mom. I can't say that about my mom. Well, it's my dad. I can't say that about my dad. Well, yeah, you can. It's okay. It's okay. All right, my next presentation is going to be, goes on MTL tomorrow, right? Tomorrow? On the 14th, I know for Valentine's Day, so if you guys know that, Vicki and I are big Valentine's Day week. If I don't treat my wife like I'm a Valentine every day, there's a problem. Anyway, and then it'll be the second Wednesday of every month. And if you have any ideas of topics you guys would like me to cover, please, I would love to. I'll definitely do a family one again, and you would talk about anxiety, correct? You want me, you would ask? You still want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we got those coming up, and thank you guys so much for coming.